Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the channel. 2026 has become a defining year in global politics. Conflicts across multiple regions have reshaped alliances, disrupted economies, and created humanitarian crises affecting millions. But while many countries struggle with instability, there's another side to this story. History shows us something uncomfortable but undeniable. During times of war, some nations lose and some nations gain. Today, we're going to explore 7 countries that are strategically, economically, or politically benefiting from the current global war situation in 2026. This is not about glorifying war. It's not about celebrating conflict. It's about understanding global power dynamics and how crises reshape the balance of influence. Let's begin. 1. United States, defense and energy expansion. When global conflict rises, defense spending follows, and no country benefits from increased defense budgets more than the United States. In 2026, with conflicts spanning Europe, the Middle East, and parts of Asia, demand for military equipment, intelligence systems, drones, missile defense systems, and cybersecurity solutions has surged. American defense manufacturers are seeing major contracts from allied nations seeking to modernize their forces. Countries in Europe are increasing NATO-aligned procurement. Asian allies are strengthening deterrence capabilities. Beyond defense, there's energy. As instability affects oil routes and gas supplies, the U.S. has expanded liquefied natural gas exports. European nations seeking alternatives to unstable regions have deepened energy ties with Washington. The result? Increased defense industry revenue, stronger strategic alliances, expanded energy exports, greater geopolitical leverage. The United States is not untouched by global instability, but in terms of influence and economic positioning, it has strengthened its role as a central security provider. 2. China, strategic patience and economic positioning. China's approach to the 2026 war environment has been markedly different. Rather than direct confrontation, Beijing has adopted strategic patience. As Western nations focus heavily on military spending and crisis management, China has expanded trade partnerships in Asia, Africa, and Latin America, strengthened regional economic agreements, increased diplomatic outreach to energy-producing nations, secured discounted commodity imports from conflict-affected regions. Global instability has also accelerated China's push for alternative financial systems and currency diversification in international trade. In moments when global attention shifts elsewhere, China often consolidates influence quietly through infrastructure investment, long-term trade deals, and diplomatic mediation roles. The strategy is simple: avoid direct entanglement, expand economic footprint, and emerge stronger when the dust settles. 3. India, neutrality as leverage. India has taken a carefully balanced position amid global tensions, maintaining relationships with Western powers while also engaging economically with other major players. India has positioned itself as a strategic swing state. In 2026, India has increased energy imports at competitive rates, expanded defense manufacturing domestically, strengthened its role in global supply chains, attracted investment from companies diversifying away from conflict zones. As businesses look to reduce reliance on unstable regions, India's large market and growing manufacturing base become more attractive. Neutrality, in this case, has translated into leverage. India's global relevance has grown, not through confrontation, but through strategic flexibility. 4. Saudi Arabia, energy market advantage. Whenever geopolitical tension rises in energy-producing regions, oil prices react. Saudi Arabia, as one of the world's leading oil exporters, finds itself in a position of influence during times of instability. In 2026, volatility in global energy routes has increased global oil price sensitivity, strengthened Riyadh's negotiating power, elevated its diplomatic relevance. Beyond oil, Saudi Arabia has used this period to accelerate economic diversification initiatives, invest in infrastructure, and deepen ties with both Western and Asian partners. When energy security becomes a top global concern, major producers hold significant leverage. 5. Turkey, the strategic middle power. Turkey sits at the crossroads of Europe, Asia, and the Middle East, geographically and politically. In times of war, that geography becomes power. In 2026, Turkey has expanded defense exports, played mediation roles in regional conflicts, leveraged control over key maritime access routes, strengthened regional military partnerships. Ankara has mastered the art of balancing relationships between competing blocs. Rather than choosing rigid alliances, Turkey often navigates between them, increasing its diplomatic value. In periods of fragmentation, middle powers with strategic geography often gain influence. Turkey is a prime example. 6. Qatar, energy and diplomacy. Qatar may be small in size, but it plays an outsized role in global energy markets. As one of the leading exporters of liquefied natural gas, Qatar has benefited from Europe and Asia seeking stable suppliers. In 2026, LNG demand remains high. Long-term supply contracts have expanded. Diplomatic channels have strengthened beyond energy. Qatar has positioned itself as a diplomatic intermediary in regional discussions. Small states with strategic resources often become more important during global crises. Qatar's influence per capita is among the highest in the world. 7. South Korea, defense manufacturing growth. South Korea has quietly become a major defense exporter. As global military spending rises, demand for advanced artillery systems, armored vehicles, missile systems, and naval technology has increased. In 2026, defense contracts with European and Asian partners have expanded. Domestic production capacity has scaled up. Technological innovation in aerospace and cyber systems has accelerated South Korea's industrial base, allows it to respond quickly to global procurement needs. War-driven defense expansion has elevated its global profile. The bigger picture, how war reshapes power. Now, let's zoom out. What do these 7 countries have in common? They are not necessarily driving conflict, but they are positioned in ways that allow them to export energy, export weapons, act as mediators, secure trade advantages, expand regional influence. War shifts supply chains. War increases defense spending. War creates demand for energy stability. War reshapes alliances, and nations that are economically resilient, strategically located, or diplomatically flexible often emerge stronger. This does not mean war is beneficial. The humanitarian cost is enormous. Millions suffer displacement, economic hardship, and insecurity, but geopolitically, power rarely stays static. Ethical reflection, the reality of global politics. It's important to say this clearly. No country wins in a moral sense when war causes civilian suffering. However, in the framework of global strategy, some nations gain influence while others lose stability. History has always shown this pattern. After major global conflicts, economic centers shift, industrial production shifts, political alliances shift. And in 2026, we are witnessing another realignment. What happens next? If global tensions continue, defense industries may expand further, energy markets may remain volatile, regional alliances may solidify. Emerging powers may rise faster, but if peace negotiations succeed in key regions, the dynamics could shift again. The global balance of power is not fixed. It evolves with every crisis. Conclusively, the world of 2026 is complex. Some nations face devastation and instability. Others strengthen their economic and strategic positions. Understanding these dynamics is essential if we want to understand where global politics is heading next. If you found this deep analysis valuable, please like, subscribe, and share the video. And now I want to hear from you. Which country do you think is positioning itself most strategically during this global crisis? Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next video.